But President Trump is setting to hold his first in-person event today at the White House since he was diagnosed with COVID-19. The event comes after we learn the second presidential debate was canceled. So what impact will all this have on Election Day? Let's bring in our panel. John Fund is a Newsmax contributor and the National Affairs reporter for the National Review. Kristin Tate is an analyst and Young Americans for Liberty analyst. She's also the author of Liberal Invasion of Red State America. Welcome to both of you.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so John, I want to go to you first. What impact will this cancellation have on, the third debate or even the election?
Well, the problem that Donald Trump has is he's behind in the polls. He needs exposure to voters who don't normally see him on conservative media. And this was a great opportunity for him to reach well over 50 million people. He will try a substitute event that night, but it's not the same thing. So the president has to find some way to change the momentum of this election. And the second debate would have been one opportunity. Going forward, there's going to be a third debate on October 22nd, we hope. But it's not clear what will break Biden's momentum. The president can win, but Biden right now is ahead, and the president is running out of time.
Kristin, John just mentioned these polls, but the thing that I've seen in these polls, I always look at what was the sample size, who was sampled, and where did they get their sample from. They're oversampling Democrats. They're also, a lot of these polls are likely voters from 2015, before the Trump phenomenon was actually a really big thing and a legitimate contender in the presidential event. So, polls aside, this event today, is this critical? Is there going to be as many eyes as John was talking about? There's obviously not going to be 50 million, but are these going to get him back on track to level those bias polls that we just saw?
Well, the rallies definitely help. The events definitely help. The problem, though, Carl, is that these Democrats, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, they're trying to make this entire election about Donald Trump's personality. They're trying to make Joe Biden out to be the nice, sympathetic guy, empathetic, and Donald Trump out to be this, offensive, tweeting, very bad orange man, right? And Trump needs to shift the conversation back to policy, because when you shift it back to policy, he wins on policy. He has a fantastic track record. Look at the economy before COVID hit. The country was doing very well under Donald Trump. So he cannot fall into the Democrats' trap. Unfortunately, though, we have a mainstream media that refuses to ask the Democrats hard questions. They still won't answer whether they want to pack the court, even though we all know they will. These people want to remove the filibuster, give statehood to Puerto Rico and D.C. They can remake the country, Carl, in ways that Americans cannot yet even fathom. And Donald Trump is the only thing standing between us and that. So Trump, it's very important he gets his message out there and starts ringing the alarm bell. And this debate that's been canceled is a huge missed opportunity to do that.
Yeah, John, I want to talk to you about that. Look, I'm during the week, I'm in construction management, so I talk to people from all walks of life. And, I see some people who are like, I don't really like Trump. I definitely don't like Biden. I'm kind of in the middle. I love what Trump did to the economy, but I'm probably just going to sit this one out. How does that bode, and should Trump reach those people? Because, like Kristin says, they're going to fundamentally transform this country just by adding maybe 2 Senate seats, 2 Supreme Court seats. How do we get to those people?
Well, Kristin was certainly right that policy is the important thing. This is a center-right nation. If you look at all of the important issues, if people are given a clear choice and a clear explanation of the difference between the parties, they will tend to lean right. Look at the debate between Mike Pence and Kamala Harris. On substance and on policy, Mike Pence wiped the floor with Kamala Harris. She clearly was on the defensive, clearly evasive, and there's a lot of radicalism that Donald Trump can talk about. That's why he needs as many opportunities as he can to reach voters who don't normally tune into politics. The people you say who may not be interested in voting have tuned out of a lot of the news. The debate would have been an opportunity to reach them. I think the president has to show up on October 22nd, and he has to make a strong policy pitch.
All right, so Kristin, we always talk about young voters. Now, they get indoctrinated in these highly liberal schools with, highly liberal talking points. And, before I was really kind of turned on to politics, I used to get my news from CNN because, hey, they said they were the most trusted name in news. So, how do we, as Republicans, reach those young voters and say, everything you taught for the 4 years, I'm going to debunk in 4 minutes. How do we reach those people, and how does Trump turn them out away from the historically voting left?
Well, as the old saying goes, the best way to turn a Democrat into a Republican is with a good paying job. And I think that's what you're going to have to do with millennials. You know, these young people, they come out of college, they've never paid taxes in their lives, and they're all idealistic, and that's why they're Democrats. And the second these kids start paying taxes, a lot of them become Republicans. I see it with my own friends in my generation. So Trump has to hammer on the economy. He's got to, run on how great the economy was before COVID and reassure Americans he can get us back there. And really, Carl, that's the best way to reach out to young Americans.
Yeah, it's shocking. I really wish that there would be some sort of work requirement between high school and college. I think that would be, like you said, they'd see the bottom, they'd see this, and the government takes how much from my paycheck? I think that would be a real grounding check. John Fund, Kristin Tate, thank you very much.
Thank you, Carl.